Morning everybody, Chad, Doss Farms. Check this out. Woo! Come here, little one. Easy, lady. Look at you. Oh my goodness. My goodness, you're so little. Mom's got her all cleaned up. So this is officially Sugar. So this is Mom, this is Nellie, this is Honey. So she was born a year ago and 1 week. She was born yesterday. So we got Honey, Sugar, and Mama Nellie. And of course, Allie and Princess. What are you doing? What's she doing? Huh? Hi. Say hello, world. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. You were brand new yesterday. Barely moving and nothing. Milk time. Wow, still gets me every time. Still gets me. Did you find the one that's got chocolate milk in it yet? Did you find the one that's got chocolate milk in it? Mom's doing great. She's looking good. Afterbirth is passed. But if you want to see that full video, it's on our main channel. I'll link it down below, but that was yesterday. Bye, Mom. It's all right. Yep. Pretty special every time there's a new calf. Pretty stinking special. The next one in line will be Fiona, and then Bunny and Tipsy, and then Glory, and then June starts all over. So pretty cool. Pretty cool, pretty cool. Oh man, that guy or girl got a raw deal. Hang on, where's my shovel? He ain't been in there very long. He's still fluffy. Get him out of there. I can't believe with a creek just 500-600 feet away, he decided that he wanted to drink out of here. He or she. We'll obviously drain that water and fill her back up. So yesterday, we did some moving around and we stuck old, hey buddy, you're looking better. I'm glad he didn't actually get you very good. But we stuck MJ in here. He's kind of a crybaby. He's kind of a turd. If you don't know the story, we actually just ran his mom to the livestock yard. She was looking for bigger pastures, too cool for school here. He's already posturing up, thinking he's his dad. But what's crazy, thinking he's as big as his dad. I wish he acted like his dad, but he just thinks he's as big as his dad, if that makes sense. But yeah, yesterday he came up here and he got taters pretty good. Basically, he's stabbing him with his horns, and that is not okay. So we'll see what happens here. And I'll watch Tater's, I'll watch his neck. Here we go. No, I ain't gonna do it. I'm about to put you back in there with your dad, because nobody over there will take your stuff. But see, he won't mess with Frank. Frank will roll him. Let me back up, see if he'll come down here. Yeah, it's a good spot for you right there. So he's our steer born last year, and we'd really like his beef and his hide and hopefully his horns, but if he gets too contrary, he'll go early. I'm not gonna put up with it, risk it. I'm not gonna have him hurting other animals. And he's got a different role than his mom, and as far as cattle are concerned, you know, his mom's only 4 years old. And other than wanting to be in charge everywhere, she was a real pretty cow, so hopefully she went somewhere that she's got more room and she can live how she wants, because she didn't like it here. But as far as he goes, just being a steer, he wouldn't make a good bull because he's not very big. But as far as he goes, just being a steer, he's gonna have to behave. So, and Frank here goes to processing in May. His 2 years is up. That's the life of a steer. But then it'll just be Taters and MJ. But again, if he acts up, it'll just be Taters. I'll probably find somebody to cohabitate with Taters, and MJ will just go somewhere else. I'm not gonna put up with it. Frank, you keep him in line, okay, buddy? Keep him in line. What's up, buddy? What's up, buddy? Somebody mentioned MJ not being very, like 5 or 6 months old, and Taters being a year old, but there's actually only a month between MJ and Taters. That's a February of 24 and a March of 24. And there's obviously a huge size difference. Taters is a Charolais. It's not even comparable. But I'll put it this way. Princess is one of our smaller calves, a heifer calf, and she's a month and 1 week younger than MJ, and she's almost as big as he is. Honey's actually, I'm sorry, she's 2 months younger. So that's why he's a steer, not a bull. A couple days ago, I told you guys that I rented well, you saw me rent it. I rented a skid steer with a mulch cutter on the front, like a mulching disc. And I ran it through this whole 20 acres. To be honest, you know, it's one of those things, like when I look at it, I don't see much of a difference because I stare at it all the time. When you guys look at it, you see a huge difference. So I'm gonna try and show you that today. But I gave her a full send for almost 10 hours on that thing. Thanks to Chris at Dig Right Rental Equipment in Carterville, because he gave it to me for a day and a half in exchange for filming a little bit. Yeah, I say gave it to me. I paid for it, but I paid like a day's rate instead of a day and a half. So, but it's pretty good. I tell you, honestly, I could stand to rent it like 3 or 4 more times, but I don't regret renting it at all. Just for the simple fact that the other option would be like a dozer, and I really don't want a dozer back in this 20 acres. We discovered a couple weeks ago with that heavy rain, we've got some really nice wet weather creeks. I don't want to disrupt those. A dozer, just at no fault of the dozer operator, a dozer is just a big piece of equipment to put in there. Now, right here in this 8 acres where Frank is, that's where the wet weather creek starts, but it's just this is basically like a high spot there and a high spot there, and there's a ravine in the middle that is a creek. So a dozer could work in there pretty easy without messing it up. But over here, there's an actual functioning flowing creek that's 3 or 4 feet deep, and it's only got water in it when we get about 2 inches in an hour, hour and a half. Well, that's a great spot. There's several great spots that we found to put a pond, even just a wading pool. So yeah, that's what we're up against. And I mentioned we don't really want a pond with fish in it for the cows, and somebody said, well, fish are going to find their way to every pond. That's true, because of birds and pond way upstream, and if we get 5 inches of rain one Saturday morning or any morning, might have some fish overflow out of that pond and make their way here to that wading pond. But What we won't find in a true fishing pond, if I build it where the cows can't get to it, is cows. That's what I'm after. It's not, I don't care if there's fish in it, they'll probably keep it cleaner, but I don't want cows in it because I know what cows do to a pond. All right, I got to bail without you guys because that wind's picking up. We're due for like 30-mile-an-hour winds today. It's pretty ridiculous. But you can see what I cleared down here. And we think it looks pretty amazing. But I'd love to keep going. Hang on, we'll get down here and I'll sit down and you'll be able to see more. So they cleared that entire hill. I cleared a bunch back in here. You can see where I hit the tree a few times trying to get out of a spot. But it might look like a mess, but now what we need is a landscape rake. My box blade won't quite work because you'd be stopping every 5 minutes and making piles, but the landscape rake will actually rake up what you want. You know what I'm saying? So, no regrets. I'll take you up there here in a little bit. Kill it. Yep. So I think it looks amazing. It's very, very clear. There could still be some trees that need to come out, but like that tree is probably 8 to 10 inches at the base. And that machine, I didn't really try anything over about 6. Hi, Phineas. What's up, buddy? What's up, buddy? Get you some. But I gave her a full send up this hill quite a bit. Tore off into that. And this is about the max that you can do with the machine. But then it just shreds it. It's got a scoop on one side. And after you knock the tree down, you slide that tree trunk laying on the ground, like this right here. And this is obviously just a little stick. But you've got like a 6-foot wide deck and you suck that up and it shreds it and throws mulch everywhere, which of course is going to break down way better than a dozer pile, which we've already got our fair share of. But just having cattle in here will help keep this down. But I kind of only made it, like if we were to walk a line, this is probably 10 acres of the 20, and this is where I kind of focused because it's pretty vast. I mean, it really is. There's a lot to do in here, and there's one spot back here where I'm not sure anything but a dozer will even do the job because you can't even turn around very easy. I know it seems like might have made a mess, but trust me, something just moved in there. I peed a little. But just trying to blaze some paths and keep things going. Down where the salt lick is, I worked down there a little bit. But it's just, it's thick stuff, folks. I mean, this was untouched basically, as far as we know, for ever. I don't know this has ever been pasture. Did that quite a bit. The main thing, if you can't tell, my main thing was just knocking down trees 6-8 inches and under the best I could. Sorry for the wind. Like I said, we got 30-mile-an-hour winds coming. But the main thing was to just try and get some daylight on the forest floor. That's what I was after. Widen these paths a little bit. This used to be just wide enough for the side-by-side. I took it all down and I did take some cedars out, especially if there was like a group of them, you know, 5 or 6, because obviously they're gonna choke each other out. So did a little bit of work up here. Again, just trying to get some daylight to the floor. But it's pretty ticky and buggy back in there. So I don't want to walk back there. I want to stay on the path. But I tore into there pretty good. There's probably like an open pocket of about an acre. You know, just did the best I could. So the cows made this path, and I used it to get in and work a little bit back here. But I want to show you where some of these oak trees are so thick that you really can't even get in, even in the skid steer. Like, it's not a dozer. You can't go in, and if something's in your way, you just push it over. You've got to be able to cut it, or it's too big to cut and you don't want to damage the machine. But here's a big area I opened up. So this is what this used to look like. I know it doesn't look like much. I'm sure the camera flattens it out, but this is every bit of about an acre and a half. And when you've only got like a dozen head on 20 acres, that's what I was after, was just freeing up, you know, 4 or 5 more acres. I took the path of least resistance everywhere I went. I didn't come in here saying, man, I'm gonna clear this right here. But I think I did pretty good. The machine is incredibly powerful. See, I did a little bit of work back there, but I can't really walk in there. It's pretty ticky. But that machine is very, very powerful. I think back here is just where I turned around. Man, is that it's a den. It's a mound of something. Here's an area we thought might be a spring. And honestly, we haven't found it since about a year ago. But I'd love to get an excavator up here and dig that out, see what happens. But that's the very highest part of the property. I think this is actually higher than the house up here. So it's not like that's water sitting there. But we'll see. There's your water right there. So I don't see it bubbling or anything. But I did some work back in there, but right here is where it gets so thick that you can barely move, even in that skid steer. So I may have to get a drum mulcher, something a little more beef to it. And what I mean by that is, this tree's not bad. You could do that with that machine. You could do that with that machine. But then you get to this one right here, and even though it doesn't look that much bigger, about an inch makes a difference. That's what she said. Whew, that wind. I don't want to get back in here too much. I had to be real careful the other day too, because it starts getting windy. But see, like this, none of this is seeing the sunshine, and who knows how long. Not a good spring, summer, and fall sunshine. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. And if you're worried about the stumps, I've got a stump grinder, as you know. And also, you actually don't want a clean cut, because if you have a clean cut, in my opinion, this is as low as I could go with the machine. If you have a clean cut, it'll sprout new trees. If you bust it up like this, it ain't gonna come back. But yeah, open this whole thing up. Looking around, I wish I was in that machine right now. It's kind of hard to tell. If you've ever hired a land management service or somebody that runs those machines, sorry for the wind, guys. I hope you even see this. If you've ever hired those land management services, a lot of times they'll kind of rip and roar and kind of go all over the place. And you're thinking, man, are they gonna come back and clean this up right here? Felt like you kind of left a little early. Well, yeah, that's what I had to do. I kind of learned that that's what they do, because you kind of get in one area and you get tunnel vision, and then you don't look back at what you might need to pick up, and it might be something real easy to pick up. Almost tripped. I guess I did trip, almost fell. Yep. I left the edges alone. That was by design. I want to leave about 50 or 60 feet to just grow and do whatever it wants. Give you an idea where we're at. There's the salt lick. Sue is way up there, that turkey decoy. There's the gate where we used to sneak through before the 20 was finished. But I did a little bit of work back here, and then I left some stuff because the cows actually eat that. That's the nice thing about longhorns. I don't even know what that is, but they eat it. But just looking around, again, I wish I was in the machine because I'd come back here and keep going, but we can rent it any time. And I hope my neighbor G-Dub doesn't watch this because then he'll feel guilty. But I had about, I could have went from like 6 to noon the following day, but I was in it for about an hour and a half, and G-Dub called, and that's when his cow was having trouble. So we went over there to help. That took up the rest of my time. There was really no way around it, but I'd do it again. I'd skip the whole thing to make sure G-Dub didn't lose his cow. So, and he would too, but I don't want him feeling guilty if he sees this. So don't do that. I think we'll rent it again sometime soon. Here's that creek, but you can see how a dozer would not even see that. And come back here and drive over this, and then it's gone. Our water flow changes. And we had water flowing right here from our neighbor's pasture, neighbor's acreage, I should say. But that machine, if you've got brush like this, it is fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Now the DNR told me it's about 60 feet between trees, which is crazy for good growth back here. But I can understand that. I mean, these trees, guys, are 70, 80 feet. That's a huge tree, huge. So obviously when it leafs out, nothing is getting sunlight over here, nothing. So we got some work to do. It's all good. It's all good. Did some work in there. Wasn't near as thick. Thinned this out a little bit. This used to be a pretty tight turn right here just because of the brush. I took all that out. We normally go that way, but now you can go this way as well. I went around there once. This is actually where I was when G-Dub texted me. This, if we could run right through the woods right here, we'd smack into the black gate. You can see the top of the house. But this was where I was headed with the machine. I just didn't get to it. But that's all right. Because it's Sunday, I'll share this too. Being around G-Dub has really reinforced my upbringing again. You know, we went to a Christian school, G-Dub and I. That's where we graduated from. And, you know, understanding that everything happens for a reason can fall short on you as you're not around things that constantly remind you of that. And that's why it's so diligent. That's why I have to be so diligent as a husband and a dad to remind Ray and the boys why things happen, good, bad, or ugly. And, you know, I look at it like when G-Dub texted me the other day, most people are like, dang, man, I got 6 more hours on this machine. Why is that cow got to do this right now? I'm going to lose the calf anyway. You know, just really get down. But G-Dub's got a family too. You know, 5, 6 kids. They just had another one. 5 or 6 kids. I'm not even sure. But yeah, he's got a family too. And his mom and dad are older. They couldn't help like I can. You know, Ray was there to kind of guide with the Can-Am. And I looked at it this way, like, what if I hadn't answered? What if I hadn't went over there? You know, God put me in G-Dub's life. I think I met him like 2nd or 3rd grade. And God knew, let's see, how old are you in 2nd grade? 10? 9? God knew 31 years later that G-Dub was going to need my help with a cow next door. That's nuts, man. It's not nuts. That's my belief. It is nuts, but it's not nuts. You know what I'm saying? So I did get this tore up quite a bit. So, but yeah, you can see all these little stragglers. I would have loved to just keep going, but we'll get it back. It's expensive, but it's not. And I'll put it this way. What we paid the dozer guy, I've not even spent a quarter of what we paid the dozer guy on that machine. And if I rent it again, I still won't be, if I'm mathing right. Yeah, private Christian school taught me. If I rent it again, I won't even spend a quarter of what the dozer guy, or I should say what the dozer guy's price was. It was very fair. It's actually cheaper than what we found. And that's because he likes working in this area because he doesn't live that far away. But yeah, man, here, this will really show you how clear it is. So again, this is kind of where I stopped. I got right here. G-Dub texted me. But now you can see the whole corral. You can see the chute. Frank and Taters are right over there eating still. Other than that dozer pile, you can see how much I opened up the meadow. All of this right here. Even though it wasn't even green yet, you could barely stand right here and see 20 feet that way. Man, look at that tree. That dude is massive. Here's the creek. Ideally, I'd like to take out all these trees right here with chainsaw, brush cutter, whatever, and set that pile on fire. It's obviously not going to be today, and we don't have rain in the forecast for 8 days, so we'll probably be under a burn ban here pretty quick. Think about that, man. If I hadn't went and helped G-Dub, and I didn't have to, but if I hadn't went and helped him, none of the vets would come out. We've been over that. The vets won't come out if you don't have your animal pinned up, because if somebody else does have an animal pinned up, that animal's success rate, calf and cow, are much higher. So if you want a vet to come out in this area, you got to get them in a chute. And that's where we were headed before the cow decided to lay down and just let us help her finally. But what if I hadn't went and helped and G-Dub got hurt? That's what goes through my mind. It's, no, he needs help. Now, could I have gotten hurt? Absolutely, almost did.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Chad, run. Good Lord.
But I had an exit. She didn't have horns, and I just started backpedaling. So it turned out all right. I'm very grateful that everything turned out okay. The cow's still doing well. The wind's picking up, so I'm gonna head up, but I'll let you take this view in for a minute.